Everything, everywhere, all at once. Never meet your heroes. I'll just let you guys know right now. There's no point to anything I'm saying right now, and and there's no. It's probably going to be very inaccurate. But I'll go ahead anyways. I'll share. Yeah, I'll go ahead. The concept of never meet your heroes. The amount, I used to have this line that I would say to every woman that I would try to um, date or even to the fans. It's like, why do you want to meet me? Are you prepared for a lifetime of disappointment? You know, just get that out in the open. I don't think that's true anymore. I don't think I know I'm not a disappointing person to meet. But the amount of comic book idols, artists, writers that I've met that have been extremely mostly artists are disappointing when I meet them. Um, because I grew up in Los Angeles, because in the last 10 years I started flying first class. I'm in the vicinity of a lot more celebrities. I sat next to Val Kilmer on an airplane from Hawaii after my first rehab before I ever met him, you know, 5 years later. Sorry, 10 years later. When I see people that I admire their work and their careers and it's meant something to me, I don't say anything to them. Not because I freeze, it's just that they look like they're with their family, they look like they're with their friends. Like, what am I going to say? But then there's times where I'm sure there's more than this, but to my memory right now, the only time I can remember in my past, I'm like, whoa, there's Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't go up to them. I'm like right near them. I could say hi. And the only time, and this is horrible that I can't even remember his name, was the Indian fellow from Office Space, the movie, the Mike Judge movie, Office Space. Uh, I used to watch that movie in my early 20s over and over again. And the Indian guy, after he, him and his friends beat up a Xerox machine or a printer in like a grass field, he starts breakdancing in slow motion. And I always loved that scene. It always made me laugh. And I had also never seen, an Indian guy in a movie. Like, it gave me hope. And so I was at this restaurant in New York when I lived there when I was in my early 30s, and he walked in, and I was like, I gotta break my own rule. I gotta go say what's up to this guy. And it was all right. He was with a bunch of his friends. I said, hey man, I loved you in Office Space, and that's about it. Um, Now more recently, where I couldn't hold my tongue, I couldn't hold back was serendipitously after I had seen Everything Everywhere All at Once in the movie theaters 3 times, and I couldn't stop talking about it and how impactful and how life-changing that movie is, what cinema can be. I saw the White Daniel. I saw both Daniels at a pool party uh, on different weeks. One week I saw him at the pool party, the White Daniel, and then a few weeks later I saw the Asian Daniel. And both Daniels, I was S'ing their D's. They couldn't get away from me. I couldn't tell them how much I admired them and respected their work. And especially the Asian Daniel, he was having, and we just dissected the work and the film and what it meant and the impact and I'm not gonna lie. I was jealous. I wish the Choe show when it came out on FX Hulu. I know we got uh, you know clipped in our knees by having episodes removed right before the show came out because of FEAR. Um, but I wish it had that kind of impact. But I know the people here that saw it, it did impact them, and the people that worked on it impacted them, and the guests it impacted them. So it's enough, and I'm enough. But it turned out Daniel, especially Asian Daniel, the Daniels, was a huge fan of the Cho show, and it may have even uh, infected or inspired or you know parts of everything all at once. So I was happy to hear that, if when I release myself of outcomes, that's the outcome, the results of what Everything Everywhere All at Once had was what the impact I wanted to do with the Cho show. And it did actually, but on a much smaller scale, and I'm okay with that. And if I had done something that inspired um, the filmmakers of that movie to do anything to carry my message forward, or then that's I couldn't have ever expected that. In the same way, the Cho show that I did, um, the experience in the office building a few years ago, it was free for every guest that came, because of how many actors and staff and all the things I had to hire, people I had to hire. Um, it cost a lot for every person that came, and it was a horrible business air quotes decision. But there was a guy there that donated his entire family's net worth. He kept 10% for himself, which was still more than what most people have, but he donated. He had realized he had been living a selfish life, and he donated, millions of dollars to people in need. And I didn't expect that. I didn't know that that was going to happen. So it was worth. I mean, it would have been worth it even without that. But that's one of those things where you don't plan for it and it happens. So those are the two times I can think of where the Indian guy from Office Space and the Daniels. What about? Hmm. There's two other times where I journeyed very far. Actually, one time very far. I have a friend, Mike, who is working with George R. Martin, uh, and he was flying out to New Mexico where he lives, where he like pretty much bought the whole town. He bought a bowling alley that was going out of business, and it's Meow Wolf, one of the coolest places. I don't know if it's still cool, but it was cool when I went there. And he gave it to artists to do whatever they want, and they turned into this completely immersive experience. My band Mongchi played there. He bought a local movie theater that was going out of business, and when I was there, he was just playing like home videos of cats. It's like what you should do when you get to where George R. Martin is. You support the arts. So I respect that. And I rolled through that town when my band played, and I had heard all these, George owns this, George donates to this, like, man, this guy's rad, you know. He's just like an old dude, like fat, and like doesn't care about, he's a nerd. He's a straight up nerd, super, and I say that with all respect. I love nerds. That's my thing. And so when my friend Mike was like, hey, I'm gonna go out and meet George, and this was 5 or 6 years ago, he said, hey, I'm gonna go out there and hang out with George for a weekend just to, pick his brain on this next thing that we're developing. You want to come with me? And I was like, wait, like kick, like not just like at a party, like meeting George R. R. Martin, but like hanging out at his house. You guys ever see a movie called Waiting for Guffman? So we fly out to New Mexico and Albuquerque. If you guys have been to New Mexico, it's all about either the green chilies or the red chilies. I went with the green chilies. I mean, I am, as I gotten older, I can't handle spice the same way I did when I was younger. I was effed up, man. I could not, I was sitting on the toilet the whole time. And yeah, it was a very strange trip where we had a hotel room right down the street from where he lived, and it was it's the whole weekend, and it was like, oh, can George meet today? Oh, he's busy right now. Maybe later tonight. Later tonight? Nah, let's try again tomorrow. You guys know how the story ends. So flew out to New Mexico basically to get diarrhea. Never got to meet George. Um, and whatever. He doesn't owe me anything. I don't know the guy. I mean, just the work he creates. The guy's brilliant. And who was the other guy? Oh yeah, I think Quentin Tarantino. One of his best movies is Inglourious Bastards. It's just, I love that movie. The acting is unbelievable. The writing is inspired. It's great. And so I was asked by Eli Roth, um, how did I meet Eli? He liked my art or something, but to do a, artist edition. Was it Eli that asked me? I can't remember. He was the Jew bear in the movie, and he's made all these awesome movies. But yeah, so I'm like, Quentin Tarantino, hell yeah. So they set up a day. I designed artist edition, I think made like 300 of them or something, posters, prints of my version of the Inglorious Bastards movie poster. And he said, will you go down to his house and sign them with him? I said, sure, I would love to meet Quentin. So I drive over to his house. It's like 30 minutes from mine, and it's gated. He has all the like awesome cars from all his movies. There was the P wagon. There was uh, the car from Reservoir Dogs. There was the car from. It's all in his. It's his house was exactly what you would want it to be. It was awesome. It was just posters, like nerd stuff, comic books, movie stuff, everything. Just a hoarder like I am. And I'm sitting in the kitchen, touching all his stuff, waiting for him to come down. And his secretary or his assistant comes down and says, "Oh, he'll be down any minute. Make yourselves at home. Just relax." We're relaxing. Hour goes by. No, he's like, "Just one more second." And then someone else comes down, and it's not. Sorry, guys, I'm driving right now. Someone else comes down, and it's definitely not the assistant. It's a woman, mascara running, hair messed up, um, and keep in mind this is like whenever that movie came out, 10 years ago or something. Um, and I just, she didn't know how to get out of the house. And she thought the party was still going on. And she's like, "You guys know how to get out." And there's other details I won't share, but so then the assistant runs in. "Oh no, you're going the wrong. You're not supposed to be in here." And she shuffles her out, and then she comes back in the kitchen, and she goes, I was there with the photographer who was supposed to take pictures of all this. Um, Dave, Choe, and Quentin Tarantino signing posters. He's like, you guys got to get the hell out of here. And we're like, "Wait, I thought I just drove all the way over here. I thought you guys got to leave now." I was like, "All right." What's the point of what was the lesson here? What's the point of getting on an airplane to go meet George R. R. Martin or getting in a car to sign posters with Quentin Tarantino and they never come out to say hi? Um, I know what it is. I know what it is. Not that meeting either one of them would be disappointing, but in life, forget forget my stories right now. Just these instances where you want it so bad, where you wanted to be first place, but you came in second or third or not at all, where they had the snacks, the good snacks, and you had the bad snacks, or they had someone else had the thing and it was just right there. I'm like, yeah, any minute now I'm gonna get it, and then you just not get it. That's one of the greatest gifts you can ever give yourself is to not get what you want, because it does something to me. To me, it does something. To not win, to not get the girl, to not get the prize, to not get considered, it wakes me up, and it explodes my creativity and my imagination. Like, what would have it been like? What would they have said? And like I said, I'm meandering now. I'm rambling all over the place. I think you guys know what I'm trying to say, but I just thought I'd share. There's more. There's more, many more sad clown moments where I'm sitting in a parking lot. I got catfished. I waited in a parking lot for like 16 hours waiting for someone. Um, even crying and pleading and begging is a positive affirmation because that means there's still hope. Getting catfished is cool because that means you still believe. The fact that you got catfished means you put yourself out there to believe. A desperate plea is still a positive affirmation, I think, because that means you still have hope. Dosame.